I like. I knew we were obviously going to get. I knew we were obviously going to get the Mac Studio because it was leaked. But I don't know, man. I when I seen the I think M1 Ultra took me by surprise. I was like,
Yeah, the M1
oh,
Ultra was very, very
you know,
unexpected.
there wasn't really talk of another chip. There was just talk of another Mac, and everybody just assumed you're talking M1 Pro, M1 Max into this new Mac Mini. And then it was just a case of whoa, what's this? Ultra? What? So definitely, man, it took me by surprise for sure.
But
But
do you know what? If
how
you look at all, I was going to say, if you look at all of the Mac segment, yeah, like from start
yeah.
to finish, at every chance they got, they took a pot shot at Windows. Like
I
this whole event was a drive-by at Android and Windows.
but do you want to know
Like,
the funny thing? The funny thing was, it got to a point during the presentation where they were like, "Oh, do you know what? We're just going to start shitting on ourselves. So we'll start comparing our own older iMacs. Like, yeah, those ones are shit. Buy the new."
mate, honestly, you just got to it's got to the point where Apple's like, we can't actually compare ourselves with you anymore.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
God,
But again, it's like if you're in that sort of professional workflow, if you're a designer or you're a developer or any of that sort of stuff, you're not buying anything Windows. Not for a
oh hell
long
no,
time. Not
hell
unless
no.
not unless they start sprinkling that stuff with pixie dust or something, because nothing's coming close. It's not even coming close to it. Not a single bit. So no, man. I was pleasantly surprised. Obviously, I think everybody was sort of feeling it through the SE. When they're talking about the SE, everybody's like, "Yeah, it just
Do you
looks
know
like an
what?
iPhone 8."
It's some good improvements, but it still looks like an iPhone 8.
Yeah,
And the part that really got me was they were like better battery life, right? And
yeah,
they made a point of saying our improved battery chemistry. I want to know more.
yeah,
It's like when we're saying better battery life, you didn't even bother to specify how long. So what are we talking? A half hour?
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I
I don't
mean?
know. It was like, yeah, it's got the A15 Bionic, and yeah, it'll be a powerhouse, and I'm sure they've made these other changes. 5-year-old phone.
But do you know what the other
You
side
know?
to it is? Anyone who buys the SE doesn't give a shit about these features. They
Yeah.
would have been better
No,
off bringing the
exactly.
price down. People don't buy the SE and be like, oh, well, it's got an A15. The type of person who knows about the A15 at a minimum is getting a 13. At a
Yeah,
minimum, if not a Pro.
yeah.
I tell
I
my
think this is.
grandmother it's got an A15 and it's got a new upgraded sensor. She's gonna look at me like I'm a fucking retard.
Oh man, yeah. Do you know what? I think this will be the last year. I think the Mini's going to become the new SE. I honestly do. They'll
Well,
just,
don't it will because of the parts lying around.
yeah, no, for sure. I think I think they're bound to have used up all their Touch ID sensors now. Surely.
Oh, fucking hope so. It needs to die. It really
Oh,
needs to die.
like definitely. Like uh, it has to. It has to. It's like, right, no more. Like what? What's a home button? What's this? Oh man. But here, what about what did you think of the Apple TV Plus original films?
They're good, man. They're actually good. I've
Not,
been checking them out because, basically, long story short, I'm a fucking cheapskate. I've got my sister's uni days in. I got Apple Music and free Apple TV for $4.99. Haters fucking come at me because I'm cheap. But do you know what? I was like, do you know what? It's Apple, mate. I like Ted Lasso. They're wicked quality. They just concentrate on the quality of the content, whereas like Netflix has to have like a minimum like diversity agenda, and it has to be like 2 gay guys, and then the last one was 2 gay black guys, and I was like, oh, we're stepping up now. They're no longer white gay guys. So,
yeah, but do you want to know something? I wasn't actually aware. I'll be honest. Even though I have it, obviously because every time I buy a device, Apple just are like, "Here, have Apple TV." I'm like, okay. I'll be honest. I've watched a couple of episodes of Ted Lasso, and I keep meaning to binge watch it. But
it's good,
being
man.
honest. I have so much. I have so much on a list. You will not believe of things I need to watch, and so I was sitting there and I was watching their intro, and I seen all these big heavy hitter actors. You're talking, Denzel Washington, Tom Hanks, and I was like, oh damn, what's all this?
Yeah, I didn't know Denzel Washington did a fucking Macbeth remake with Apple.
I know. I was like,
what the fuck?
What is this?
Do you know what? They've been recruiting serious acting talent for a while, and not just recruiting, but directing and production. And that's where they're eating out.
Kylie's for those that don't know, Kylie's my wife. So she was doing a workout when I was watching the event. So she's like, so she's saying she hasn't watched it yet, but what are we buying?
No, Kylie, what are you buying him? What are you buying him?
Kylie, I'll be honest. I've actually been Googling to see how much I can sell you for. So so watch this space. We'll see what money I can raise, because a Mac Studio could be on the cards. Yeah, could be.
You know what? There was a lot more to this event than I ever thought there would be. Like when they said it was a spring event, this event put a fucking spring in people's step.
Yeah, man, definitely. M1 Ultra, MeTech, yes, man. What do you think of the M1 Ultra? Let me know. I think Apple have truly pimped their own ride. They should have brought Exhibit onto the stage. We stuck a chip on your chip so you can process while you process. Boy!
Honestly. And do you know what cracks me up? They were like, M1 has a secret we never told you about. And they were like, you can stitch them together. It's like, it's genius, but fucking lazy at the same time. It's like, man, why should we make a new processor when our current processor is so fucking good? We can just like stick two of them together and go, fuck you.
That's very, very true. That is so true. It's like,
honestly, every time Intel wants to improve, they have to come up with a whole new fucking architecture, go back to the drawing board, all of that. They need to get their nanometer process down. Apple's just like, yeah, we're just going to upscale the M1. Yeah, okay, I'll just upscale again. Oh, all right, we'll just upscale again.
Yeah, we'll just keep stacking chips on top of each other. That's what they've done tonight. They've just
at some point there'll be like a fucking pack of Oreos. You can just buy them.
Oh dear, David Blaney, what's up, my man? And yes, big up the new tech smell, massive. You love new tech smell. Listen, we should like reach out to like all these like people that make fragrances and do a new tech smell aftershave, because there's no better smell in the world. True story.
I'm getting that new tech smell this month.
New tech smell. Yeah.
Do you know what? I love the fact
sell me, they'd bring me back. Well, if they don't have the receipt, they can't bring you back.
Just don't give them the receipt. No, just don't give them a return address.
Tail light warranty. As soon as she's gone, she's gone.
One-time sale.
It's a game changer yet again. Well, this is it, my man. This is it. They're doing big things. Big things.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Actually, I'm just going to reposition myself a little bit. I'm going to sit over here because I'm lazy and I want to get comfortable.
Get some of them lights, them Govee lights in the background. Yes, buddy.
Do you know what? That's not even a Govee. That's just an IKEA lamp. Oh, that's all that is.
Such a disgrace.
But mate, what else was there today? There was the iPhones, the Macs.
David David Blaney messaged me during the event saying, "Give me that green." So he's a bit like yourself, Peter. He likes the green iPhone Pro, iPhone Pro. He's all about that life.
The mental thing is, I guarantee a good chunk of their sales of this green model are going to come from people who already own a 13 Pro. And you know what? Anyone who has a 12 and wasn't sold and just didn't opt because of the colours, they might well do it now.
Why not? Why not?
You never know.
So
the studio display is next level quality.
Yeah. Oh. Just got the crap out of it a month ago.
Raging.
Oh man. Oh, who knew? Who knew? Who knew? Oh well. Maybe next time, Dave. I'm hoping if they need to get. Do you know what I want? I want this year. I want something as close to Pacific Blue as possible on the Pro, or I want like a burnt metallic orange. I want a baked bean.
Like a copper, yeah, that'd be nice.
Give me it. Give me it.
A copper.
Anybody want to swap for a green iPhone Pro?
Absolutely not. Sorry, mate. You're stuffed.
Oh, so moving on. Ipod Air. Who in the comments has a 11-inch iPad Pro? Let me know. Leave me a comment down below. Who has one?
I mean, mine's not the M1 model.
It's not worth anything anymore.
I mean, mine's not the M1 model, but even now, they've practically tanked the resale value.
Like M1 and the iPad Air at well, I know it was dollars, but it'll probably be the same
in the UK.
569. That's a bargain.
In the UK, 569 for an M1 iPad. It's got the second generation Apple Pencil support. I mean, what are you really losing? Like we were saying earlier. Oh, it doesn't do HDR content. Cool. Go and find out how much HDR content you can find. It's really not that much. And you know what? I bet you 20 quid you won't even know the difference when it's HDR or not.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? I mean, I've got whatever display it is they've put in that iPad Air, it's the one that I've got in this iPad Pro, except mine's 120 hertz.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you now, I've watched hundreds of hours of YouTube, Family Guy, fucking Netflix, all sorts, right? Including gaming on it as well. I've got no issues with the display on this thing. So I don't care that it's not 120 hertz or mini LED or whatever the hell they call it. I don't care if it's M1 and it's 569 and I get it in a better color.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And
although I'm mini LED for life, mate. M1 iPad all the way.
M1 iPad for sure, but I guarantee you they'll probably put mini LED in it in a year or two.
Oh no. Kylie, what are you doing to me?
Might need there's a pink one to go with your pink iPhone.
Yeah, but hold on a minute, right? Kylie also would like a MacBook Air because she's been using my MacBook Air recently. So she's like, "Oh, I think I'd really like a MacBook," and I'm like, "Right." And now she'd like a nice purple iPad Air now.
What she needs is that longer battery life to stay on Asus longer because Windows just ain't backing it.
No, she needs somebody with more money than me. What's up, Ted? Glad to see you. And what up, Ted? So yeah, iPad Air, man, crazy. 11-inch Magic Keyboard compatible, Apple Pencil, no brainer.
It does the whole shebang. It does the whole shebang.
The only thing you're giving up is the display and Face ID, realistically.
And promotion. Think of it this way. Are those three things that you would spend an extra 500 quid for? What, 500 quid to use Face ID? Bearing in mind, it's in the shorter edge, so you always have it in the horizontal anyway.
Exactly.
It's a pain in the arse. And then you hold the bezel so your hands are over it. You may as well just have the built-in fingerprint sensor.
Yeah. Don't even get me started about the front camera. Don't even. It frustrates me. So bad. Like center stage is so good. Like as you seen, like me and you were on FaceTime earlier, and I moved out of the way, and it followed me around the room. But it's just in the worst place. Like on the left hand side of the iPad when it's in the Magic Keyboard, it's just stupid. There's no need. That's the one thing I will say with
centralized.
See, with a Samsung tablet, Samsung have the camera in the right place. It's in landscape mode, and it's where it should be. And yeah, I can't. I have to give them credit for that one. I definitely do.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So, as much as it pains me to say it, I resisted going for that S8 Ultra. I was going to get it. You know, the thing that's this width.
Who the fuck needs a 15-inch tablet? If you need a 15-inch tablet, you need a 15-inch laptop, not a tablet.
16-inch MacBook Pro, mate.
That's it. Change
your world. Treat yourself.
Change your wallet as well.
Oh man, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think on Mac Studio? Honest opinion. First impressions.
Do you know what? If you think the M1 Max 16-inch was niche, they just took niche to like the nichiest level possible. You know, that studio is for people who edit movies at a like film cinema level, big time TV shows, big time chart music. That's pretty much who it's aimed at, you know. Yeah, Ted. Yeah, that is true. That did cross my mind.
I think it's if it's not, have they give it the same name?
They called it Alpine Green.
Alpine Green. All right. Well, if it's not the exact same color, it's really close to it. So that's a good point. If that is the case, well, that will be the first time that they brought it back. Although I think that was on the 11 Pro, that green color. It was like I could have swore it was midnight green. They called it
midnight green. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was a bit darker and a bit flatter. This here is it's a bit more of a vibrant metallic green. So I think it's a nicer one than that, to be fair. But
I'd still agree it's a comeback though.
Yeah, it's definitely close to it.
With the Mac Studio, I like what they did. Do I like the design? No, but they went for functionality over form. If you got here 30 seconds ago, I think this thing is literally for people who edit professional movies. I'm talking Hollywood AAA movies, AAA TV, Netflix shows, stuff like that. People who do animated TV shows, high end. I'm talking chart topping music. These are for like the most elite level producers out there in their fields. You can't even say these things for like photo editing because, you know, a professional photographer could easily pick up a MacBook Air and smack out their work. Yeah. They have a professional photographer has got no need for anything more than the M1. This is like,
dare I say it, will we ever see AAA gaming on a Mac?
Oh yeah, it's coming because games on Steam are already being natively coded in ARM retrospectively, AAA games. And that is being pushed by Valve. Now, for those of you who don't know who Valve is, they own Steam. Valve is getting them to do it, and Apple's not getting a slice of the action.
Mm-hmm.
That means people will be buying AAA games, playing them on their Macs, and Apple won't be getting their 30%.
Well, this is it.
Valve are laughing. And what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Boot them off the store? They're not even on the store. It's a side load.
Yeah. Well, this is it. This is the thing. Will we soon see? I know you're a bit of a PC gamer, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you reckon we will see a shift in AAA gaming from PC users? Will we see PC users changing
No,
and going Mac?
but PC is trying to switch to ARM as it is.
Yeah.
PC switching to ARM will pretty much by default bring AAA to Mac as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
de facto, potentially Windows are putting in. Look, a majority of Windows is like business, and their third-party parts like RAM from Corsair and whatnot. It's the game crowd. They spend an insane amount of money on these GPUs.
Yeah.
Now look at the graphics performance you can get from a base M1 Gen 1.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of people, they would probably prefer to have a Mac because they own an iPhone. Now you bring AAA gaming over, you remove that final hurdle to them to switch.
Yeah.
Mac's market share has been growing faster than ever, and it's bigger than ever. Imagine when you start bringing in the gaming crowd. That prick's going to be buying M1 Max, M1 Ultra. He doesn't give a fuck.
But
He's
this
going to see 64 core GPU, and he's straight on it.
Yeah, but this is the point, right? What if? Now this is sort of my money head talking, right? So if I was a gamer, if I was a PC gamer, and I was spending thousands every 1 to 2 years rebuilding PCs and staying up to date, if I could buy a Mac that could last longer and then still be worth more when I come to upgrade.
Absolutely.
That's simple math, right?
I mean, look at it this way. Do you really want to pay $2,000 just for the GPU? And then in a year, it's worth half of what you paid.
Yeah.
There's so many things that bother me about Windows in general. You have to spend a solid amount of money every year to keep that platform up to date.
Yeah,
and you're just always.
I agree.
It's a losing game. It's a losing
100%.
game. At least with a Mac, you've got the value retention. You can go down the Apple Store. You've got the built-in top-end displays. It's win-win.
The only thing that a PC user would give up, which would be a problem, is the ability to open it up and tinker with it. What you have in your box is what you get. But
how many people really want to tinker? How many people really want to tinker?
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I like tinkering with stuff. Not my Mac right now. No, not that.
Put it this way: they like to tinker because they need to overclock.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's true.
They're tinkering.
That's a good point, Ted. Actually, headphone jack in the back of the computer.
Yeah, that was a confusing choice.
I will be 100% honest. I near lost it when I seen the SD slot in the front. I was like, oh, common sense. What is this? Couldn't believe it. I was like, no more dopey SD slot around the back. But then now that you've actually mentioned it, it's like, yeah, why didn't I just put the headphone jack in the front? It's a bit. See, Apple give with one hand and they take away with the other.
The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh. Timothy has no mercy.
Hey, Brad, how's it going, my man? You keeping well? Not sure if I'll stick to the 14-inch or get the studio. Bro, are you not 15? Give me some of that money.
Brad, that 14-inch is overkill for what you're doing now, mate. Like, yeah, but you do not need a studio.
But if you donate it to us, we'll test it for you.
100% do not need a studio, mate. Unless you're like working with Brad Pitt, don't get a studio. And yeah, that's it. Unless you're working with Dua Lipa or fucking Brad Pitt, chill out. You do not need a studio.
Oh man, well we've just found out your fantasies anyway, mate.
That's it, mate. Brad, and Dua Lipa.
now that we've covered everything that they've spoke about, let's talk about the things that we didn't get. What would you have loved to have got today that we didn't get?
Well, technically you did and you didn't get the iMac Pro because they said at the end it's coming.
Ah, okay.
Technically you did and you didn't get it.
But then, now I know I've been making a joke about it on Twitter because I'm a smart arse and I like to make jokes of things, but I'm pretty sure during that presentation they said the M1 Ultra is the last chip in the M1 line. So
I missed that part.
Is it just going to be M1 Ultra into the Mac Pro or into the iMac Pro? Or are they going to bring out another one? Are they going to stick them all together and make one big super duper M1?
And M1 they can't really take it further than M1 Ultra.
But listen, how catchy does M1 Super Duper Pro Max Ultra Plus with extra cheese and hot sauce? I mean, that sounds super.
You know what? That does sound like something you'd see on their marketing. They had something like Super XDI the dosha, so I was like, bro, what?
I don't know. It's like, do you want to know the funny thing as well? I really struggled. And do you know what? I think my SEO suffered for it as well. See, when I reviewed the MacBook Pro,
yeah,
do you see trying to say M1 Pro, MacBook Pro multiple times? It was like,
oh, do you know what?
You're trolling me, man.
When you say it.
You're trolling me.
You know what the other thing is, though? The naming of the whole MacBook Pro thing right now is confusing because you say MacBook Pro and it's like, okay, but which one? There's three. Exactly. Oh, you have to say, I got the M1 Pro MacBook Pro. Oh, I got the M1 Max MacBook Pro. They should have given it something. They should have called it like MacBook Studio or something.
MacBook Studio. Where's these AirPods Studio?
Good question. It was supposed to be a sports model, wasn't it?
Yeah.
AirPods Indeed. Max Sport or whatever.
Timothy also gave us a stand to go with that Apple Studio. Sort of.
Listen, that studio display is a fucking steal at 1599. If anybody tells you that that thing is expensive and overpriced, slap them immediately without hesitation. Don't warn them, just slap them and then give them a consultation with a doctor.
Okay, so explain to me why it's so good.
Because look at it this way. So recently I'm looking to switch over to desktop setup and I want a good color accurate display for editing content as well as gaming, right? Because a lot of people do use their external monitors for not just their content. Now, outside of Apple, nobody really makes an color accurate display. And if you want one, there's a very limited number of choices. They are very expensive, and that's 4-digit territory, right? You're not getting spatial audio. You're not getting the Apple build quality. You're not getting the Apple color accuracy. You're not getting the nano texture coaching. There's loads of little details in these. You're not getting the microphones. You're not getting the speakers. All of the hardware that goes into it, the ports, the great webcam, like Ted just said, like there are so many. It's a long list, genuinely. It's loads of little points that add up to a lot that these other ones, like let's say Gigabyte is one brand, just don't offer for their 4-digit displays. Pure and simple.
I'll be honest. I was already sold the minute I seen. Obviously, I reviewed the M1 iMac, so I know how good the camera is. So when I seen the camera, I was sold. When I seen the Thunderbolt ports, I was like, oh yeah, that's enough. And then it was like, oh, but there's this and there's this and there's this, and I was like, what? And then I sort of looked at it and then I thought, yeah, it's £1,600 for a display, fair enough, and I agree with every point that you've just said. But then a 24-inch iMac is cheaper than that.
It is, but then it's M1 and it has like 2 ports.
No, get the 4-port one. Nobody buys a 2-port iMac. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but
Unless you're buying a
man,
MacBook Air.
honestly, if I was gonna buy an iMac, I'd wait for the iMac Pro.
Well, that there's going to be a big one. So
Because people who
what did
buy
they
the iMac,
reckon? Did they
I was gonna
reckon it
say
was
the
going to
people.
be? I'm sorry.
No, no, you're right. I was gonna say it's just the type of people who buy iMacs. They want 32 gigabytes of RAM. They want all the ports. They're the type of people who buy MacBooks, the Mac Studio.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that's a good point. That's a good point. Ted, that's also a very good point because I last year bought a 34-inch ultra wide monitor and I have two HDMI's, two display ports, two USBs, all built in, which is a really, really good display. But I'm not gonna lie, when I was watching the event and I looked at that display on my TV, I was like looking at my monitor going looking at it in a bit of disgust, to be honest. I was like, you're a bit basic looking. But I couldn't go back from an ultra wide now. Anything less than a 34-inch now just isn't enough for me personally. It's just
what size is their what's the other one? Is it 6K display or the original XDR display, the external one?
Is it not 32-inch?
I think it is.
I think
it
it's
is.
32
That's
inch.
why, and I was going to say, if that's 32-inch, you'll never get a 32-inch studio display.
No, definitely not.
They won't, because it defeats the point of it.
Pro XDR display. Let's just confirm that actually. Tech specs. 32-inch, yep. 32-inch, 6K.
And this is 27-inch, 5K for more than 50% off in terms of price.
Yeah. So the standard glass version is 4599, so £4,600. Or with the nano texture glass, it's extra £900.
Jesus.
You buy a car for that?
Yeah, but the thing is, the kind of people who are buying this, I mean, it's not an issue for them.
Yeah,
Joe, I'd love to see the sales figures for one of these.
For the display?
Oh yeah,
the studio display. Do you know what, man?
Yep.
See, judging by a lot of responses on Twitter, mostly, like a lot of people are looking at it and going, "It's fantastic value," and they're all over it.
I mean, look at the studio display in the UK.
I think they're going to sell big time. Yeah,
1499 for all that. I'm buying it. I'll tell you now. When I switch over to a desktop setup, I'm 100% getting that studio display.
Yeah,
it's no brainer. I mean, look, 6 speakers and spatial audio, 5K Retina. You know, look, let's be honest. We all know how good Apple is with displays, right? 600 nits. I think that could have been better. I think that's a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, I kind of thought that myself, but then again, when I hear nits, I instantly think phones and tablets, and then I'm thinking, and then I thought if you had that size of a display doing 1200 nits, you would be blind.
I suppose
you would your eyes would just stop functioning.
But honestly, do you know what? That studio display, if you couple that with an Apple TV 4K, Lord have mercy, the quality of your content. Very expensive TV setup for 27 inches.
Yeah, just a bit
of TV.
just a bit. But
imagine the quality.
Yeah, imagine the quality. So you've got your inbuilt speakers, you've got 2 HomePod minis on either side, Dolby Atmos all over the place.
We need an Apple TV, like an actual TV made by Apple. I want it.
I don't know. I don't think we'll ever see it.
No,
Personally.
they'll never do it. They'll never do it. But
No.
if they did, imagine that.
The
Rather than
minute,
selling you the box, they sell you the TV with the hardware built in. Oh, I just got to update my TV OS.
Yeah, here it would definitely work. But any dreams of a Apple made TV itself died the minute they let AirPlay out onto all the other brands. See, the minute they released AirPlay as a standard feature to the Samsungs, the LGs, all those other, the Sonys, all those TVs that were built in a standard, it was like, yeah,
I
Apple
feel like it
just
was a
make that
pity
TV.
move.
It was. It really was. It was like, okay, you can have it. You can have AirPlay.
It's like they looked at me and you disgust me, but fine, you can have it. Stop begging. Get off your knees.
Oh, definitely. One thing I will be honest. I'll be honest. The one thing I am gutted that we didn't see, and I don't know when we're going to see it, but I want new AirPods. I want new Pros.
Look, I love these Pros, man. I really do. But
Okay.
2.5 hours of battery life is not. Yeah, it's not good enough. It's not good enough.
How much?
2 to 3 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I could
Why
probably
so
get
bad?
4 because I keep ANC on.
So do I. I never have it off. Is that all you really get?
Yeah, I'd say 2.5 to 3.5 hours. Yeah.
Damn. Surely that's not right. Surely there's something wrong with them.
And my case doesn't last that long either.
Do you know what you need
Like,
to do?
put it this way.
You need to do what I did.
I did.
Put them through the washing machine.
Oh no, I've had this case for like 2 months. These are new. These are like 2 months old, and so is the case. I got them all replaced under Apple Care.
Right? Just put your buds back in the case, put them in your pocket of your jeans, and throw them in the washing machine.
No, I'd have a heart attack.
My AirPods have never worked so good. I swear. I still can't believe they work. It's crazy.
I've already left one pair on top of a car before I drove away, so. And I drove around for a day before I realized. I was like, hold on a minute. Like, where are my AirPods?
Wayne Donaldson, my good friend Wayne, has said a full-blown Apple TV would cost about $5,000. That would be cheap, in my opinion.
I'd pay it.
That would be cheap. Apple would be like, only $5,000 for a TV?
No, do you know what? Looking at Studio Display, right? I reckon they could do it for $3,000. But imagine the audio quality by default out of it, the color calibration, everything. It would be worth it. It would be worth it. Samsung TVs and Sony TVs would have a fucking headache.
No, man. Yeah, that's very true. Very, very true. Pro stand is still $1,000. No, you don't get the option to buy the 300 height adjustable for the XDR display. Listen, when Apple charged $700 to put wheels on a Mac Pro, you know that they can just do what they want, and people are going to pay it.
Oh, speaking of Mac Pro, Apple during their event took a shot at the Mac Pro itself. They were like, "Yeah, the new Mac Studio is 4 times faster." Bruv, they were speccing that thing up to $50,000.
Yeah,
the Mac Pro was getting specced up to $50,000.
Yeah,
imagine a year ago, or whatever, 2 years ago, you bought a Mac Pro, and now this thing comes out at $399, 10%, less than 10% of the cost. You're looking at like 8% of the cost of that $50,000 MacBook Pro, and it's getting spanked.
That's what I said. Sure, like it used to be in the events. Oh, look how good our M1 chip is compared to Windows machines and all this here. Now Apple are shitting on their own stuff. They're like, oh yeah, look at our old Mac Pro. It's rubbish against the M1 Ultra. It's like,
how about that? It's trash. But you make it, yeah, it's trash. Trash now. It wasn't trash then.
Care.
Now.
We don't care. You spent $20,000 on your machine. It's garbage now.
Buy the new one. M1? What? You're a peasant? No. Buy an M2, my friend. If you ain't got M1 Ultra, you can't squad with us.
An iPhone SE. Ooh,
Do you know what though? I felt
A15
like
Bionic.
do you know what? I'm willing to bet Johnny Sarugi felt like fucking Megamind when he went to go. But wait, there's more. We didn't tell you that it has the secret. You can stitch them together.
Do you know what, man? I thought that was brilliant. I literally was like, I'm waiting for Gazebo to pop out on the stage here. You just been pimped. I was like, what?
But you know
We didn't
what?
just give you one processor, we give you two on top.
Honestly, the amount of pot shots they're taking at Intel right now. It's like realistically, who is Intel's market anymore? If you definitely want Windows, you're gonna get AMD. And if you're on the fence about Apple, I mean, since M1, you know, that's it. Decision's made.
I honestly don't. I honestly don't see unless Intel pulls something major out of the bag, which I personally don't think they can, because I read something like 2 weeks ago saying that Intel are working on something that's going to blow M1 out of the water, and it's like
The only thing
so
is going to blow that chip out of
you're
the desktop.
You're 2 years behind Apple. You're 2 years behind Apple's basic chip.
Listen, everyone's talking about Intel's 12th gen, right? At 270 watt power draw. The only thing that's going to happen is your desktop's going to start fucking levitating because of the fans.
You're going to be on a conference call.
It ain't the fucking Holy Ghost. It's the fucking fans working overtime.
You're going to be, here, my laptop doubles up as a hovercraft.
Mate, your PlayStation 4 was... Mate, PlayStation 4s that haven't had the dust cleaned out the fans for 10 years still run cooler and quieter.
Oh, man.
You know?
Maybe Nux will keep Intel alive. I don't know, man. That's a bit of a reach. Nux are not, well, they call them Nux. Maybe Nux isn't the best thing to be saying on YouTube. But the Nux are Intel's mini PCs. So in fairness, you can get them in sort of like a wee square, and you can spec them up.
I know what they are.
You can spec them up to like an i9, I think. But then my mindset was always,
what am I trying to do? Make it melt?
It's something tiny. That's going to be a really loud and very warm little package. Like, unbelievable.
Very warm.
Yeah.
Very warm.
Because I have an earlier gen version of it, which it's just running an i3 processor, and I literally just use it to dick about on. To be honest, I just remote desktop into it from all my other stuff, and even when I'm doing the basics, like you can hear that thing just going woo woo.
Mate, like I said, I had the 11th gen i7, and within 10 minutes, like you just heard the fans like woo, like full systems go. I don't get that with the AMD. I've got a AMD Ryzen 5 5000. I don't get that.
Let me tell you, man. See, when it comes to Windows, Ryzen is you can't beat Ryzen. Value for money and all that stuff, man.
Right, lads, I got a dash. I hate to break up the party. No worries.
Well, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. And
thanks for having me on, putting up with my bullshit.
I'll we'll maybe do the next one at your place.
Yeah, my place. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so, my place is going through a bit of a jiggle around at the minute. That's why I'm like sitting on the bed and stuff, because there's crap everywhere.
Yeah. Refurb.
Sort of sorts. Yeah. Right, guys.
Spend on that YouTube money.
Love. Oh yeah, 100%. You'd be starving to death otherwise. Right. See you later, mate.
All right, man. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
There we go. So I'll try and keep this going for a bit longer, guys. So is there anything else that any of you guys watching missed from the live event? Is there anything that you wanted to see that you didn't see? Let me know in the comments. For me personally, and it's really, really sad because I they're literally my favorite thing. But I'm ready for the new AirPods Pro when they ever get leaked, and I really really want them so bad. So I tried the Beats Fit Pro recently, and I like that design, albeit I wasn't keen on the ear tips. It's a bit of a mixed bag for me. Sometimes they're okay, and sometimes they were a bit uncomfortable for me. Whereas these are a pretty good fit. So I'm intrigued to see that. So a part of me was hoping that it was going to be sort of shoehorned in there, but it didn't show. So maybe they'll just release them out of the blue. Who knows? But yeah, that's really all I can say about that. To be honest, I think personally speaking, I think the Mac Studio is an unbelievable piece of kit, but I I would struggle to justify having it simply for not only the price point of it because it is a really expensive piece of kit, but I would struggle to justify the use case for it. If I'm being truthfully honest, because when I tested the M1 Pro MacBook Pro, and it was literally the base model 14-inch, it it did everything that I'm doing on my M1 MacBook Air with 8 gig of RAM. It did everything that I was doing with very, very little fuss. And the render times for the 4K video that I shoot for my channel, you're talking very, very, very small margins of exporting and rendering time between the footage that I shoot. And then when I tested it then with ProRes footage, that's when the M1 Pro just took off, and like I rendered 13 minutes worth of ProRes footage, which was approximately about 65 gig worth of data, and it rendered that entire project in 90 seconds, which was unbelievable. It was like, and I didn't understand how the M1 Pro could take, maybe 9 minutes to render some 4K X265 footage, but then ProRes, it just chewed up. It was like some crazy voodoo. So yeah, I just don't understand it, to be honest. I really don't. But that's my little ramble for this evening. So yeah. So any other comments about the Apple event today? What do you think about it? Let me know down below. And if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. I checked today, guys, by the way, and I have hit. Oh, I'm actually over it now. Earlier today, I hit 900 subs on the channel, and now I'm at 902. So we're on the way to 1,000 subs, and once we get 1,000 subs, I'm going to give away some tech. So again, everybody, share this with all your friends because I'm a good guy. Kyle Thompson, my good friend Kyle Thompson, has M1 got better gaming performance? This was a debate we were having earlier about gaming on the Mac, and simply down to the sheer power that the M1 chips are putting out at the minute, we were sort of discussing, will AAA games be appearing on the Mac in the near future? Because the power is there. So who knows? I mean, yeah, you can still everything. A lot of games are being coded at the moment on the likes of Steam for ARM processors, so it's a very, very high possibility. So who knows? Who knows? But nice one, Ted. Thank you. I know what game's on a Mac. Oh dear, dear. What do you game on, Wayne? What's your favorite gaming console, Wayne? I believe the correct answer is all of them. Yes. So Kyle, oh, by the way, Kyle Thompson is a PC gamer and a PlayStation gamer. So, indeed, all of them. See, Wayne does not discriminate against games. He will game on absolutely anything, everything, and anything. No fanboy here. All right, Wayne. No fanboy here. Oh, yes. Wayne, did you catch any of the Apple event this evening? Out of curiosity. Except a Mac. You're a bad man. Bad man. Just looked at the Ipod Air M1, still maxed out at 256 gig. Get that out. Yeah, 64 gig. Why are they still doing an iPad with 64 gig? It is beyond me. It's baffling. Just don't get it. Do not get it. I'm with you 100%, Ted. That is stupid. I played Football Manager on a MacBook during uni lectures. Like a boss. So, you went to uni? I didn't think you were that smart. You missed the whole thing. Oh, what snacks did you buy? Now, do not disappoint me. I want to hear something really good. What did you buy? What are you snacking on? You should be grateful the Ipod Air port is new. Well, do you know what? I actually said earlier when I was talking with Petar about the difference between the Ipod Air and the Ipod Air and the iPad Pro, and that was something that I actually left out, which is a very, very good point because it's the most used feature of my iPad Pro, and that's the Thunderbolt port. So I edit all of my content. What I edit between my MacBook and my iPad, and I edit directly off a Thunderbolt SSD. And yeah, I couldn't be without the Thunderbolt port now, to be honest. Just the way it performs, and I would need that. So that would be the thing that would keep me off an iPad Air, to be honest. Would be the lack of Thunderbolt. So, but yeah, 3.1's okay, I suppose. It's okay. Popcorn and minty Cadbury buttons. You disappoint me. Are you melting the Cadbury buttons and pouring it over the popcorn? I'm not that smart. Uni was a waste of money. Yeah, I would believe that, to be honest. Yes, I would believe that. Very, very much. Although you're not a bad spot. You're not a bad spot. So, what does everybody want to see for WWDC? Because WWDC is going to be the next Apple event, I think. So, what does everybody want to see? Obviously, the heavily rumored Mac Pro or iMac Pro, the big beastie, could be coming. And in between, I would like there to be new AirPods, if I'm honest. But I don't know. It's been very quiet on the leak front, to be honest, on that. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. At WWDC, I'd like to see them announce the Batman 2. Wayne, do not toy with my emotions. Do not toy with my emotions. Do you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna veer off the Apple chat here for a moment. I have been extremely triggered the past couple of days with a lot of talk about the Batman. So yeah, I'm sort of I'm sort of trying to tame myself on Twitter because there's a lot of guys. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of guys making a lot of very, very good points, but there's a lot of guys talking a lot of crazy stuff, and I don't like it. I don't like it. Apple to buy Warner Brothers and erase the Snyderverse. Oh, come on, bro. Come on, bro. There's bound to be a part of you that liked Ben Affleck. Come on. Now, granted, not when he was murdering people, but put that aside. You had to like something of Batfleck. Yes, Ted. Yes. Now, I am planning a video. I'm going to do it soon for the channel. I'm just trying to get everything together right for it. But I'm going to do a video on Lightning, the Lightning port on the iPhones. And as I'm sure, if you aren't aware, in a lot of my videos where I talk about the iPhone and I talk about Lightning, I always voice my disdain for Lightning and how I want USB-C in the iPhone. So I am with you 100%, especially with there being ProRes video on the iPhone. Lightning is only USB 2.0, so those transfer speeds are far too slow. It's useless. I would rather not have it. I don't even use Lightning. I wirelessly charge my phone and then I airdrop to my Mac. I literally don't use Lightning. I only ever use Lightning in the car for CarPlay, and that is it. And that's only because I have to. So I'm with you 100%. 100%. I'm with you. USB-C, and yeah, I need that. And LDAC, yeah, definitely, mate. Give me that. I want it. That's on my WWE. We can all wish. We can all wish. Was it necessary for M1 on Ipod Air? What does that mean for the iPad Pro? Never mind the M1 Ipod Air. There's going to be an M1 and an Apple Watch soon. That's a joke, by the way. I'm not being serious. No, I think it's the next step of evolution with Apple's silicone. Also, from the economy side of things, it's cheaper for Apple to mass develop one chip and use it across multiple devices than it is for them to develop multiple individual chips. So that's why you'll see the likes of you'll see the likes of the iPhones and the iPads, apart from the Pro, but the likes of the iPad Mini and the iPad Air, they'll all use the same A15 chip that the iPhone's using, simply because they're great performing chips, but they also it's cheaper and easier to manufacture. So again, I think that's just the cycle of chips. The M1 chip, I just think it's a case of they've manufactured so many and they need to do something with it, as I suppose. And when it comes down to chip shortages across the world and things like that, there again, it's easier to make one chip in a mass production than it is to make multiple sets of chips. So that would be my logic behind that, to be honest. A no-notch iPhone. Do you not like the notch, Kyle? Because I'll be honest, I've spoken in depth about the notch for a long time, and I have always, my stance on the notch has never changed. I don't particularly care about the notch, simply because the notch is performing a function, and it's performing a very good function. It's housing Face ID, and Face ID works so well. I don't care about it. Now, if there was a notch on the phone and it wasn't doing anything, yes, that would upset me. But it doesn't. The notch doesn't bother me in the slightest on the iPhone. It really doesn't. Now, the design to replace the notch on the 14 Pro, if you haven't seen that, look that up, because that looks absolutely stupid. I would much rather them keep the notch than have what they're going to put on it. It's pretty much going to be a an eye. It looks like an eye. So let me see if I can get a picture of it up here. It's a bit dreadful. So it is. Let me see. There we go. iPhone. Let's see. Share. Do, 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 do. 2 seconds. And it's not working. I'll send you a message, Kai. I'll iMessage you. Would that suggest that M2 will take root on the iPad Pro? I don't think, personally, I don't think M2 will hit the iPad until it hits the Macs. So the way Apple seem to be sort of positioning their chip lineup, and I may be totally wrong, this is just me speculating, but the way that worked, they launched the M1 and they pretty much put M1 into everything. So they put it into the MacBook Air, they put it into the Mac Mini, they put it into the MacBook Pro, and that was fine. Excuse me. Then they developed M1 Pro and M1 Max, and that went into the MacBook Pros, and then M1 Ultra is going into the new Mac Studio. So what I think is going to happen is the Pro and the Max and the Ultra chips are going to stay with the Pro Max. So the likes of the MacBook Pro, the iMac Pro, the Mac Studio. I think those are going to be what's going to stay in those chips. And then the likes of the MacBook Air and the Mac Mini and the likes of the iPad will get M2. So in my opinion, the basics, like the MacBook Air and the Mac Mini and the likes of maybe the iPad Pro, will get M2. And then the MacBook Pro, the Mac Studio and the iMac Pro, they'll get the M2 Pro, the Max and the Ultras. They'll get the big chips. In my opinion, that's what I think. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. I've learned to live with the notch, but I'd prefer if it wasn't there. There's no excuses. They need to figure it out. I would agree. Simply because with display technology now, I don't see why there can't be. I don't see why there can't be those sensors under the display. And if there was a hole punch just for the camera, fair enough. I don't see why not. I don't see how being under the display would be restrictive for the Face ID sensors. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But judging on using the Samsung Fold 3 last year, where it had that in-display camera, and the camera was so poor, but again, it was a 4 megapixel camera. Essentially, all that the Face ID sensors are doing is a dot projector and allowing light in. So, in theory, it should work under the display, but who knows? Since the Studio Display has an A13 chip, what are the odds someone can get iOS on it? Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if there was at some stage some form of TV OS put in, because if you haven't used TV, or if you haven't used an Apple TV, TV OS is like iOS for your TV, and it has all the basic apps, all your streaming apps and all that sort of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen before. Obviously, we discussed earlier, Apple will never ever make their own TV, but software wise, I wouldn't be surprised if they put a splice of that into one of their displays. So say if you're working on content, then you could flick it over, and then you could stream your content or whatever. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me, and like you say, with the chip capabilities, it's definitely possible. Definitely. Excuse me, I was just coughing there. I didn't want to cough down the mic. So yeah, no, that's a good comment, Ted. Thanks for that. That's pretty insightful. It wouldn't surprise me to see it though. I really wouldn't. I really like tvOS. I love my Apple TVs. I have them everywhere. Everywhere. I've actually started I've actually started gifting them to family as well. It's like, I love these so much. I want you to have them as well. So just take them. So good. But again, that's what happens when you get sucked into the ecosystem. You have to have it. So yes. Let's see. Oh, I shouted that one out. So what is everybody else up to this fine Tuesday evening? And for the people watching live, what would you like to see on my channel next? I've always got ideas ticking in my head, but I never really know. And I throw up polls on Twitter and YouTube and all that sort of stuff, but I'm never ever sure that ideas in my head are what people want to hear or what people want to see. So drop me a comment, let me know, what would you like to see me cover on the channel. I said earlier I would like to drop a video on lightning and why I hate it. Well, hate's a bit of a strong word, to be fair, but no, I hate it. And would you just like to see those types of videos, or would you like to just see me doing reviews of tech, or would you like to see me doing other things? I dropped a bit of a networking video a while back on a QNAP NAS drive. So, what did you think of that? Do you just want to see that kind of thing? Belly dancers? No. Ted, I have an exceptional belly, I'll have you know. It's exceptional. But I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to watch me belly dance either, to be fair. Almost 12 a.m. off to bed. Contrast keenly. iPhone. Oh, very good. Apple iPhone accessories. So we're at 12 a.m. Whereabouts are you based? Let me know. It is 20 to 9 p.m. here in the UK. Sorry, it's just replying back to a message. Yeah. No. So yeah, I would love to hear you guys, what you'd like to see on the channel, and let me know. I have some things in the pipeline, and I'm not sure if I should share it here now or if I should wait. I don't know. I'll think about that one. I'd like to see a PC build. Kyle, You might see a PC build soon. Now, it may not be the PC build that you would want to see, because it might not be the PC build you would want. But I was considering doing a video of how you could build a PC for cheap and make it a bit of a Frankenstein PC out of bits of everything, a wee bitsa. So yeah, I might be dropping one of them soon. But by all means, if you're going to buy things for a PC, I'll build it for you. I'll do a live stream. Okay, my phone just went off. Weird. Product reviews, and I'm not hearing audio. Can anybody hear audio? Let me just double check. Hello, test. Can everybody hear me? Let me know in the comments if you can hear me. I can. Oh, okay. Good stuff. Kylie, you're still with us. Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. I thought you'd be sleeping by now. You know, when I start rambling. I would like the best bang for buck PC. Well, then that could be an option. Watch this space, Kyle. Watch this space, because I do have a little project. I do have a little project on the works for a friend of mine. So watch this space. Yes. There is audio on my problem. My Mac Mini. Oh no, is that an M1 Mac Mini? Well, I'm glad you got it sorted. So let's have a look. Oh, we have been live for over an hour and 12 minutes. Wow. And there's 5 of you here as well, which is amazing. I can't believe that people are actually listening to me, to be honest. So thank you very much, guys, for being here. I really appreciate it. Is there any other questions that you want to ask about the Apple event this evening? Anything you want to discuss in the comments that we haven't already covered? Let me know, drop me a comment. And if not, then I'll probably look to wrap this up. If there's nobody else. Let's see. Lauren wants an iPhone. Is it worth getting the 13 Pro or waiting for the 14? Well, my honest opinion, when it comes to buying anything technical, you should always buy what suits you now. If you were to wait for something new every time, you would be waiting forever. So if you need a new phone and you need a new phone now and the iPhone 13 Pro fits your bill, buy the 13 Pro. That's the only thing I can say. Because you could wait until September and then get the 14, or, you know, it's all about If it fits your budget, if the features are right for you and it's available now, get it now. Personally speaking, since the iPhone 13, I felt that the 13 Pro was a big jump from the 12 Pro. You got better cameras, you got 120 hertz ProMotion display, a much better battery, especially in the Pro Max. The battery life is ridiculous. It is just ridiculous. For me, those things were enough for me to change. Even though leading up to the event, I was like, I don't really see myself changing. I don't think 120 hertz is really worth the big difference, but it was. So again, for me, it's really, if it fits your bill, go for it. If it's available, go for it. Why wait? She doesn't need a new phone, but she keeps taking my 13 Pro to take dog pictures, and it's annoying me. Well, in fairness, you have some of the best dogs, to be fair. And I feel your pain because I used my dog as a portrait mode model. So literally, when I'm testing phones and cameras, it's like, Bear, stay still, click. So yeah, and in case you don't believe me, there's my camera roll. Now, look at all those dog pictures. Look at that. I mean, he's a good model, to be fair, and it's an absolute miracle you get him to stand still, I must say. So she's got her priorities in order. Get one now. Well, you would say that, Kylie. Kylie, would you say an iPhone is worth it for taking photos of your dog? I think we're a wee bit biased. So, yeah, definitely. Yes, very much so. Another thing I will say, Kyle, actually, if you're on an iPhone, if Lauren gets an iPhone as well, and then if you get an iPad for Lily, for example, your family integration and your parental controls are so much better on iOS, and that's why recently I've had a lot of people that have been long-time Android users have been switching from Android to iOS for that reason. Not because they hate Android and they're moving to iPhone. It's literally because the parental stuff that they want to monitor on their kids' phones and stuff to make sure that they're doing the right things and being safe and all that sort of stuff. iOS is just brilliant for it, so that's another good reason. And then if you are all in that sort of bubble, that's pretty good. Right. Well, there is 10 to 9, and I think I'm going to call it a day. So, massive thank you to everybody for tuning in and listening to me ramble about the Apple event and other such stuff. I really appreciate it, and I'm going to attempt to do more live streams as well. So, if you want to see more live streams, don't forget, hit the subscribe button, follow me on Twitter, Michael's Tech Talk, and you'll get up to date info on me dropping a live stream as well. So if you haven't done that already, do it now. And yeah, I think I'll wrap it up here now, guys. And until the next one, I'll catch you later.